month of September, Leading Age Maryland is highlighting workforce development efforts across the aging services sector. There are many inspiring and encouraging stories of how our member organizations have grown employees from within their ranks. Joining me today is Dominique Givens from CSI Support and Development. Dominique, thank you so much for joining me. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your professional background. Can you tell me a bit about what you studied in school and kind of how you got to where you are today?
hmm and thank you for having me, by the way.
Yeah.
But I studied management of aging services with a minor in entrepreneurship, and it was a long journey. I didn't go traditional routes. Like, I kind of changed my major a couple times, ended up just learning different things and trying to see what fit. Jordan Evans, actually, he was a recruiter at UMBC for the management of aging services major. And I spoke to him and talked to him about it, and he was like, "You should give it a try." And I took a couple courses, and I learned a lot about like the longevity economy, aging in place, and how aging is affecting everyone, like obviously, but and just how different people focus on that based on different aspects of life, like social, economic, political factors. Um, and so I graduated with that degree in the minor, and I learned a lot about just a well rounded picture of what the aging kind of space is going to look like and evolve into and what it is now. So it was really cool. It was really interesting. It was a lot of stuff I did know or like intuitively knew, but also stuff that paired with stuff that was really new and kind of life changing, to be honest.
Thanks for sharing that. So you took some classes and then you were like, I kind of like this. Do you remember like any aha moments when you were like, I think I really like this. I think this is what I want to focus on.
Ooh, there was one specific class, and I took this kind of later into it. The first class was really interesting. I don't want to take away from that. That was like a real breakdown of the problem and kind of some solutions that people had offered. Um, and the class that I remember being like, this is definitely me. Was a management. It was just called Management of Aging Services. It was taught by Professor Gary Hibbs, who runs. Uh, Also, I think he runs. It's
He was at Riderwood and now he's at, I think, Forest Hills of DC or he's at Community in DC now.
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, but he's a fantastic teacher, by the way. But he was teaching us about leadership and how leadership isn't just a positional factor. It's more about the way that you can influence others to become leaders themselves.
Mhm.
And that really struck me because a lot of the time in aging services, I find, and when I worked other jobs like that were more clinical, I guess, um, you really have to have team members that understand leadership in a way that it's not just one person on top making all the big decisions and you run to them and go ask them questions. Sorry, excuse my voice. Um, but you run to them and ask them questions. But leadership is more about trying to foster that decision making for everyone. And he was trying to teach us that. And I thought that applied so perfectly to management of aging services because it's it's a real developmental tool that you have to foster in the people that you work with.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's going to be pretty much like chaos.
Mhm.
So, making those quick decisions, being able to empower team members to make those decisions, and learning about leadership in a way that resonated with me and
Mhm.
with older adults that need that kind of help, or not.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that was really impactful for
That sounds like it was a really inspiring moment for you.
me. Mhm.
So what kind of drew you to affordable senior housing?
So I've always wanted to help people in some sort of way. And that's why I struggled with my degree and finding out what I wanted to do, because I kept running into places where, yeah, I'd be able to help, but only like the people that could afford it the most.
Mm.
Um, and growing up, I I was a lower income um, person at a predominantly white school in Owings Mills, which is McDonough, which is a private school as well. Um, and the resources that were shared at that school were fantastic. They're
Mhm.
incredible. They were inspiring. They were like, what we were being taught was amazing. Um, but I realized that most people wouldn't be able to grasp it unless they have the money to do so.
Mhm.
Um, so affordability is always something I've thought of,
Mhm.
but even with seniors who are can be a vulnerable population, um, I thought it was really important and like interesting to try to figure out how that works,
Mhm.
that arena, like combining management of aging, but also my passion for making things affordable. So
Mhm.
I think that's what drove me into that kind of path. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really think it's working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you're
Mhm.
smiling, so I would say it probably is.
Thank you.
So what's the most rewarding part of your job now? I know you started it with CSI not too long ago, but like what makes you excited to come to work?
Um, it's a mixture of two things, I think. It's the team that I work with, like as like employees in the office. They're really incredible people. They're awesome. They have like all different personalities, different ways of doing things, and it's really incredible to learn from each one of them. And then another thing is the residents, the members, the seniors that I work with. They are really funny. They're really um, to the point, most of them.
Yeah.
Um, it's refreshing. It's really nice to have meet a person that has so much wisdom and experience and isn't scared of sharing it at
Yeah.
all. um, and I really just appreciate that, and I appreciate the different personalities I encounter amongst them as well. Um,
Mhm.
and they give spirit to the company that I work for and to, I mean, their own living situation. So
Mhm.
it's really fantastic to work with the team and them. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
mhm.
So, where would you like to go in your career? So, it sounds like you're really passionate about kind of creating equitable opportunities for people to really live well. Um, are there like in 15, 20 years from now, what would you really like to be doing? Or
Mhm.
what impact would you like to have made?
Gotcha. Um, so I do plan on trying to create a affordable living situation of my own for seniors. I'm not quite sure like the details
Mhm.
yet, but I've definitely been doing a lot of thinking about what I kind of want it to look like, how I want it, what services and kind of unique qualities that I'll offer. Um, and I do want to get to know more about the ins and outs of like um, just how to operate a really a community that can thrive. Like
Mhm.
I'm I'm seeing good parts of that at CSI for
Mhm.
sure. Um, and it's it's helping me build a better picture of that place for
Mhm.
seniors.
Yeah.
And I do kind of want it to be in Baltimore, because I find that there's a lot of need for that here,
Mhm.
especially affordable housing for anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely am looking forward to creating something of my own and kind of branch out and make it something that can last, you know,
Mhm.
for until I'm old and
Yeah.
gone. So yeah, that's kind of my vision. Um, and we'll see where it takes me.
That's so cool. You're getting to use your entrepreneurship
Yeah,
degree too.
not to work.
Yeah. So what advice would you give someone who is maybe thinking, maybe they're a student and they're like, I don't know what I want to major in. Um, what advice would you give them having kind of been in that place?
Mhm. I think I would give them the advice to try a lot of different things, and something that you're not necessarily comfortable.
Mm,
Management of aging services, even amongst my major, I thought it was way too small. Like when I graduated, I walked across the stage. There were only two other people that day that were graduating with me. So it was this class of three for that graduation ceremony. But it was something that a lot of people didn't even know about.
mhm,
And I think that trying different things and getting that awareness of other places where you never know your interest might be in. And even still, another piece of advice I would give is that a lot of companies, jobs, different positions now are looking for people with people skills.
mhm,
Um, so IT, um, healthcare, and a lot of other industries are being oversaturated.
mhm,
But if if you're looking for something to try to test your your passion,
mhm.
I say give management of aging services a try. And UMBC is a great school for it, so I'm plugging UMBC. But um, I would suggest giving it a try because it really unites more than what you think in it.
Mhm,
And it's you can still go into IT in management of aging services. You can go into, you know, different, definitely healthcare. Um, and you can definitely go into like finance, marketing. There's other like areas that
mhm,
involve the umbrella of management of aging services.
mhm.
So my advice would be to just, yeah, try different things, go for something that makes you passionate, and then management of aging services. But yeah.
And you also completed an internship at another community, right? So what do you how did completing an internship in aging services, how did that kind of contribute to what you want to do now?
That was really incredible for me. I I interned at Broadmead,
Mhm,
which is a continuing retirement community in Cockeysville, um, and it really opened my eyes to how like parts of aging services run. I
mhm,
got like, the background information. I understood, the different levels of care, um, and that helped me kind of break down future vision for my thing and for working somewhere um,
mhm,
at TSI ultimately. Um, but it gave me more of the outline for things,
mhm,
and especially when I was paired with Leading Age, doing that and with Broadmead, um, it was incredible. I learned
mhm,
so much, so many things. I got connected with a great mentor, and she, my mentor, Erica Thrashaw,
mhm,
and, my mentor and Broadmead both tried to set me up for better opportunities in the future.
mhm,
So it definitely gave me a lot of confidence and kind of what I really needed to understand
mhm.
what I was about to get into.
Yeah.
Um, so internships are great. I really recommend that as well,
Mhm.
because you never know how helpful that'll be, and
Yeah.
it really almost always is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, getting that on the ground experience, I'm sure, was really helpful. Um, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you'd like to share?
Hmm.
Any closing thoughts?
Well, um, just get connected in any way that you can, whether it's politically, whether it's, socially, emotionally, get connected to aging services because there's so much you can learn and so much you can do for you, for your generation, for the next generation, for the generations above us and behind us. I think that aging services is really, it's just, it feels good. It's a great place to be. And I think that no matter where you end up, you can learn something from aging services. So,
Yeah, so true. Like you said, we're all aging,
yeah,
and
we
we're
should.
lucky we'll get to be old. So,
Yeah, yeah, agree.
well, thank you so much, Dominique. It was great talking with you, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.